Then we look into the other. We look at it, it's more like what is there. I'm just giving you the wider idea what is there in all around, what is happening everywhere. When we talk about the miniature tradition, it is not only Mughal or Rajasthani. There are a lot of other places where this tradition has flourished, and it has even the influence and give and take from all the other schools also. Like Mughal has influence on Deccani, and Deccani has influence on a lot of Rajasthani school as such. So around 1560, during the same time, not same time, but around 1516 to 1680, you have different sultanates. What we have seen in Mandu and what we are talking about sultanate is the Delhi Sultanate. Okay, and Mandu and all are the regional sultanate. But then you have this is the Deccan Sultanate. When we talk about the Sultan in Deccan, it's known as Deccani Sultanate, and it's a very different style altogether when we look at Deccani Sultanate, because Deccan Sultanate has a very strong connection with the Persian court. Okay, so you will see the coming up of the Persian artist to the Safavid artist. Okay, Safavid court. So they are coming to the court of the Deccan Sultan's court and working. So you have a very refined style which comes up in the Deccani school. So the first school which is known as Adil Shahi. They are known as the Adil Shahi school, which is the Ahmednagar court. And you have, very interestingly, you have painted, like you have Ragamala which is painted, the Yoginis which are painted, then there are portrait studies which has been done. See? A very different style, a very refined form of style of Mughal as well as Persian, if you see. This sort of tactile quality of the Mughal, the tactile quality of the Safavid court, and somewhere this background or the color palette which is more close to the Mughal. This is very close to the Mughal school, where you have this type of flora, like this type of foliage and the lush background, huge background which is used. And you notice one thing, you have in the Deccani school, you have this very elongated figures and sort of a naturalism which you may not find in Mughal court, but which is there in the Deccani, which is very interesting, that sort of naturalism which seems. The portrait studies, as I said, taking from both the Safavid, the Mughal, the indigenous style, you see here. And where you will see Mughal, even when you, apart from Jahangir, when you look at Akbar and all, you won't see this, when it comes to the attires, when it comes to the jewelry, they're very modestly dressed up. Of course, in Jahangir it's the statement purpose. There are memoirs in the Jahangirnama itself. There are instances where it is clearly said that if the Jagirdars or if the governors have to attend, they have to be dressed up in a particular manner. They have to. It's almost like this refined taste which even his comrades have to follow, or even his governors has to follow it when they come to the court, when they come for any festivals or any sort of event. Okay, but it's not like that in Akbar. And when we move towards Deccani, you will see the human being, the figures are clad with clothes, and there is a tactile quality which is there, and clad with clothes, the jewelry. And very interesting is how the treatment of hair becomes very important in the Deccani school.